Water is for fighting. Whiskey for drinking, water for fighting.
If there's been one thing that's been constant through the history of the interior West, it's been bad decisions with water.
Today we use every drop of the water in the Colorado River. It's not easy, but it is legally possible to move water from Wyoming or Utah into Colorado.
That threatens our livelihood up here.
The river would suffer all the time.
There's a shortage of water, everybody knows that. That's why everybody's fighting for it.
Take 3 seconds and look around, look where you're at. This is pretty good.
The Green River, it's the sort of place where we go to get our boots dirty and our souls clean. Certainly it makes no sense to take 250,000 acre-feet a year out of this river and ship it to the Front Range of Colorado to grow bluegrass. This may not be a wild place, but it's my place. Because this isn't just about water, this is about home. One of the things that I love to do is to just grab a handful of sagebrush and rub it together in my hands and smell it. Because that evokes so many memories for me. Memories of being here with my family, being here with my friends. This area is special for me. The Green River drainage is special for me. My family goes back here for 4 generations before me and 2 generations after me. It's hard to tell for us where the land leaves off and we begin, where the river leaves off and where we begin. The Green River it's my home place. It's the lifeblood of my family. We've been here for well over a century now. And we have ranched on it, we have lived on it, we've loved it, we've cursed it. It is our home. And it is inextricably tied to who we are as a family, who we are as a people. You know, the Million Pipeline is a proposal that is elegant in both its simplicity and its insanity. The notion of shipping water from a desert river in one of the most arid regions of the United States across a 500-plus mile stretch to water lawns in Colorado seems beyond the pale for me.
There's a growing population along the Front Range, and what we call the Colorado Front Range essentially is that 200-mile strip from Fort Collins down to Pueblo. But about 85% of the population of the state resides east of the Continental Divide, and about 80% of the water originates west of the Continental Divide because the storms come in from the west and they're much wetter. I think the idea behind the pipeline is that we can no longer get water from the headwaters. It's already spoken for. Denver's already got it. Northern's already got it. So let's skip it. Let's go around it to Flaming Gorge, where at least some people on the Front Range, perhaps naively so, believe there's a lot of water that's available for anybody to take it. This is the first very large project that would divert water from hundreds of miles away. It's not the first project that diverts water from one state into another, but it's the first one that does it with such great distances. It is diverting water a long ways. That's all going to cost billions of dollars. So it is legally possible, but very difficult. The consequences to western Colorado would probably be small. The consequences for the entire Colorado River system are more significant. The Green River from the Flaming Gorge Dam down to its confluence in Canyonlands with the Colorado is one of the last remaining good habitat reaches for endangered fish and a number of other native fish that in the future could be threatened or endangered. So it will cause an increased burden on existing water users to make up for the lost habitat for those native fish that are protected under the Endangered Species Act. I think that it will also mean that communities along the Green will suffer the consequences.
The Green River is basically my way of life.
It's where I want to be every day, is right here where we're at right now in this canyon.
It's all right here. I'm fortunate enough to have it in my backyard.
Here, we catch fish all the time in good numbers.
We're dealing with about 15,000 trout per mile in those reaches.
I mean, you're talking a fish every linear foot.
A lot of trout per mile in the Green River.
And, you know, with the opportunity for dry fly fishing year round.
Plenty of places for fish to hide, ready to come out and visit. You know, it's consistently good. Any day that I come in and my people are happy, I'm happy.
You know, I've come down and you know, I just caught one fish, but sometimes that one fish is worth the trip. You know, it's kind of the small town. I definitely like the small town life.
Well, we just broke the landmark of 1,000. We have 1,054 full-time residents in the county now. Of course, Flaming Gorge Reservoir and the National Recreation Area that surrounds it are a big attraction here.
Oh, it's just a gorgeous morning on Flaming Gorge. I love being on the water. If you can get out here early in the morning, you can sometimes enjoy at least a few hours of water like this. It's just glass. It'd be a great opportunity for anglers. It's a great opportunity for work like we have today. Here it comes. What we're going to do here today is we're going to take some zooplankton samples. We monitor zooplankton on the reservoir, and we monitor zooplankton densities throughout the summer months to make sure when we inflate our stocking rates for rainbow trout and kokanee salmon on the reservoir, we make sure that they have enough forage. You're trying to meet the needs of all anglers in doing what's best for the fishery as a whole. You know, I work for the taxpayers, I work for the anglers. Nothing pleases me more than to see smiles. We've got 92 miles of reservoir here, extending from Wyoming down to the dam. The predominant component of the fishery is lake trout, rainbow trout, kokanee salmon, smallmouth bass. We have lake trout here that swimming around that are, you know, over 50 pounds. It's a world-class lake trout fishery.
The reservoir is about 70% in Wyoming and 30% in Utah, where it's the Flaming Gorge Dam. The Green River comes out of Flaming Gorge, runs through Utah into Colorado State, and then flows back into Utah, and then flows southwest to Canyonlands, where it meets up with the Colorado River.
Probably one of the most beautiful places you'll ever visit, with some of the most diverse scenic attractions and adventures that you could have. Very interesting topography for people that like to see red canyons, wildlife, a lot of wildlife here. Of course, on the Manila side over here, it's a lot of ag ground, agricultural ground. A lot of farming and ranching takes place here. And there's some very interesting stories about the homesteaders that homesteaded all this country. They were very dependent on the water.
Game on, woohoo!
We are one of the major hideout areas for what's known as the Outlaw Trail. We understand the importance of preserving places like this one so that people can come and get a little bit of a taste of what it was like for our forefathers and what it took to build this great nation.
Flaming Gorge is a special place. I was 4 years old when it started. I can remember coming to this very spot with my mom and my dad and watching them erect the ironwork for the dam.
Flaming Gorge Dam was authorized as part of the Colorado River Storage Project. The authorized purposes for the Colorado River Storage Project was water storage, flood control, power generation, recreation, all the above.
The Green River and the Flaming Gorge, that means all the world to us as far as survival.
Well, if the pipeline happens, the Flaming Gorge and the Green will change dramatically. Flaming Gorge could drop and the Green River would lose a large percentage of its flow. Water temperature could go up as the reservoir levels go down, and the fish would definitely suffer. We could lose one of the best blue ribbon trout fisheries in the world.
How you doing today?
Good, thanks.
It was a relatively small operation when we started, which consisted of the fuel dock and a buoy field of boats, and as it grew, then the operation changed to what it is today. Here you go. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Come see us again.
Thank you.
Good luck fishing today.
Thanks.
Well, we have about 185 slips and a 500 boat dry storage area. We have stores, restaurant. Yeah, without the reservoir, there wouldn't be a business here.
The county would probably cease to exist. The biggest employer in Daggett County is Flaming Gorge Lodge. So that tells you something about how we rely on the water resources up here.
Low water conditions for the operation of any of the marinas on Flaming Gorge is a very critical issue. I think one of the only few ramps that would even be available would be here at Lucerne. Most of the other ramps would be high and dry. It's hard to perceive that they would physically do that to this area.
When you see proposals come forth, like the Million Pipeline, you can choose. You can choose to be angry about that. I can choose to be disappointed. I've been there frequently, believe me. You can't live in Wyoming and love this land and not be disappointed from time to time with what happens. But more than disappointed, more than angry, what I am is determined. Because this isn't just about water. This is about home. And people will do things for home, but they will not do for anything else. They will do things for family, but they will not do for anyone else. And so when I see these sorts of ill-conceived proposals on the table, I'm determined. I'm determined to try to inject some sense of balance.
Too much in the past, water managers have tried to tell people what they want to hear, not what they need to hear. So you got to stand up and say there's a limit to how much water we have in the system. So it's not an infinite resource. There's a cost to developing that resource, and we just have to have an adult conversation about it.
That's where we're stuck, you know? We've got a limited resource. We've got to keep as much of it as we can for places like this where people can see it and feel it and enjoy it.
I mean, how do you put a dollar value? How do you put a value to this? The recreation, is the boating. the fishing, the ability for farmers to have water to irrigate their crops. You know, what's the value of 7 miles of some of the greatest fishing in the world? You can't put a value on it.
The loss of one of those home places is a tragedy beyond measure. And I, for one, my family, for one, cannot stand still and watch our home place be lost. Because once they're lost forever.
Smorgasbord.
Spell that, please.
I don't know how to spell it. Zooplanton.
You know how to spell that, but not smorgasbord?
I don't know how to spell smorgasbord.
I think that was actually the middle fin he flipped you there.
Yeah. Dumb and Dumber.
I don't know, let me ramble for just a minute or two. No more than a few minutes, okay? I know, you put your dang watch away.